achievement by Missouri Western State University alumni, faculty, staff, and/or meritorious service in the areas of athletic achievement, coaching, or other noteworthy accomplishments in athletic-related areas. A 5-year waiting period is required for alumni selection. The award may be presented posthumously to alumni, faculty, and staff, or for meritorious service. The selection should be made on the overall career of any individual. However, it may on occasion be based on a single accomplishment. Hall of Fame recipients will be present during the banquet each year. Any living and able honoree is expected to be present to receive the award. Honorees will be given additional time to present. And ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, our first inductee tonight played 4 memorable years for Griffin baseball. All-time wins leader, Coach Buzz Verduzco, after a brilliant prep career at Turner High School. Brandon Simmons established himself early on as a force to be reckoned with on the mound. Oh, you don't have to stand up yet. I have a lot to read about you, Brandon. Brandon was a standout pitcher for Griffin baseball from 2010 to 2013 when he became the winningest starting pitcher in Griffin and MIAA history. Brandon's impressive 4-year career was punctuated by dominant performances his junior and senior seasons. Simmons owns the Missouri Western single-season wins record with 12 in 2012. He likewise holds the Missouri Western single-season standard for 10 complete games, 9 runners picked off, also in the 2012 season. Brandon's 11 wins in 2013 is tied for second highest wins in a single season. Simmons erased 8 runners by pickoff in 2013, tying him for second all-time in a single season. In both the 1.94 ERA he posted in 2012 and the 14 games he started in 2011 are good for third all-time for a Griffin pitcher in a single season. As a 4-year Missouri Western player with single-season numbers like those just mentioned, it should be no surprise Brandon etched his name into the Griffin career record book for pitchers. He ranks 1 in 5 of the most important pitching categories: 35 career wins, 48 games started, 228 strikeouts, 318 1/3 innings pitched, and 20 complete games are all career best for a Griffin pitcher. Brandon's work on the mound in 2013 made an important contribution to helping the Griffins earn their first ever MIAA baseball championship. MIAA coaches recognized Simmons' efforts in each of his 4 years in a Griffin uniform. His first 2 seasons saw him earn MIAA honorable mention distinction, followed by first-team accolades in each of his junior and senior seasons. Brandon also garnered the prestigious MIAA Pitcher of the Year for his work in 2013. Postseason awards continue to roll in for Simmons. He earned all South Central Region awards from 3 different services over 2 seasons. Following the 2012 season, both Daktronics and ABCA named Brandon to their second team. After his senior campaign, besides Daktronics and ABCA, the NCBWA added their endorsement as all 3 services selected Brandon to their first team. Simmons' 2013 season merited national recognition, and accordingly, he was named an NCBAA Honorable Mention All-American. Brandon graduated from Missouri Western in 2014, earning his BS degree in sports management. He has worked for structural and steel products for the past 2 years and is currently a facility manager. Simmons has said the most influential people in his life are his parents, Wes and Kelly. Brandon is not the only athlete in the family. He met his future wife while here at Missouri Western. The former Casey Ramsell, a Missouri Western women's soccer athlete, also played 4 years for the Griffins and earned all MIAA honorable mention in 2014. Great part of their story, Brandon proposed to Casey on her home turf at Spratt Stadium. Yes, Casey and Brandon celebrated their 4-year wedding anniversary just last month, and they recently welcomed the newest family member, 6-week-old, he's up on stage as well, Cole Michael, who joins his 2-year-old brother, Tate John. Brandon, aren't you glad I read all this? Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to welcome class of 2020 Hall of Fame member, Mr. Brandon Simmons.
Okay. Thank you, Brett. Thank you, Scott, and the Hall of Fame committee. This is a wonderful evening. I'm glad everybody can make it out. I'm not a public speaker, so you're going to have to forgive me. I'm not good at writing speeches or performing them. I've only done 3, and they've all been at weddings. So bear with me here. First of all, I'd like to thank Buzz. We had a lot of good times. We started out having some bad times in the first year or two. Those are the only losing seasons that I've ever had in my life, and they came in my first 2 years of school. But Buzz, he's a great coach, and he believed in all of us, and we ended up turning the program around, and we had the most successful team in 2013. So going from the worst season in program history to the best is something that I'm indebted to you for. We put in a lot of time together. I'd like to thank the training staff, Kate, Becky, Rachel, and the OG, Mr. Myron. A lot of time spent on this shoulder and this back. I thank you guys. You kept me to where I could play. Every time I come back to this university, I'm reminded why I love this place. Now that I'm a dad, and when you talk to your parents and you're driving through somewhere that's newly developed, they look at you and they say, I remember when that was a field. I remember when this was just a pasture. Well, I can say the same to my kids whenever we come back, because when I first started here, the Griffin Indoor Sports Complex was non-existent. We played our baseball games at Phil Welch, which was a pitcher's delight. It was a large ballpark, but things progressed to where we got the Griffin. God, I can't think of the name. I played there for. The new baseball complex, and whatever it's called, the Spring Sports Complex. There you go. And just what an upgrade that was to this program. We used to play on the football field when it was too wet, or there was snow on the ground because we could shovel it, unfortunately. But this university is just the things that they have continued to put in, and it's amazing to watch the athletic programs build. The several new teams that they have are why that I love this university. I want to thank my family that came here tonight. My grandma, my grandpa, my brothers, my in-laws, my kid that won't stop screaming over there, which I apologize for, but it won't stop, I promise you. My beautiful wife, she gave me the biggest blessings that I could ever ask for. And then my parents, you guys have put in so much time, so much money, so many miles, and I can't thank you enough. You gave me every opportunity that you could to make sure that I would succeed in life, and I'm forever indebted to the both of you. So with that, I will leave you with what Brad always says, and as always, go Griffs.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2020 Missouri Western State University Athletics Hall of Fame member, Mr. Brandon Simmons. Well, our next inductee, ladies and gentlemen, he traded in the blue, white, and silver of Raytown High School for the black and gold of the Griffins, where he starred for 4 years, Roger Allen was a devastating blocker for Hall of Fame coach Jerry Partridge in the high-powered Griffin offense from 2005 to 2008. It is well known that the offensive linemen work without putting up statistics found in the box score, like rushing yards or pass receptions. Quoting from his NFL assessment, Allen's raw power during his collegiate years was undeniable, as he manhandled the competition with relative ease. Some statistics they paid attention to were his 107 knockdown blocks, an MIAA high in his senior season. Allen also posted 14 touchdown resulting blocks on the way to recording a blocking consistency of 88.25%. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the highest in Division II that season. Rogers' play contributed to 33 Griffin football victories during his 4 years with the team, including 4 postseason appearances and the program's very first NCAA Division II national playoffs. His blocking helped pave the way for the rushing career of Jeremiah White, receiving career of Jarrett Brooks, both Griffin All-Americans. Allen was honored by Griffin football when he was named to the 2000s All-Decade Team. Rogers' career with the Griffins started quickly as he was named MIAA Co-Freshman of the Year and listed as honorable mention. In each of his 3 seasons, Roger was named to the All-MIAA First Team. In the region, Allen was named to the Don Hanson All-Region Team 3 times in his career, including twice to the second team and once to the first team. Roger was named All-American in 3 of his 4 seasons as a Griffin by 4 different organizations. Don Hanson named Allen honorable mention in 06, 07, and 08. Also in 07, he was named honorable mention by D2Football.com, and big recognition came in 2008, Rogers' senior year, when D2Football.com, the Associated Press, and the AFCA all weighed in with first-team All-America honors. Following his decorated Griffin football career, Rogers signed his first NFL contract with the then St. Louis Rams. Roger was with the Rams from 09 to 10. His next NFL stop was with the New Orleans Saints from 2010 to 2011. Rogers' pro football journey continued with playing opportunities for the Carolina Panthers from 2011 to 2012 and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers from 2012 to 2013, closing out his NFL career. Following his time in the NFL, Roger launched his current career. He has worked hard to develop his fitness training skill set. That includes internships with Big 12 programs Baylor and the University of Kansas. Roger graduated from Missouri Western in 2016 with his BS degree in general studies with a double minor in business and psychology. Since 2015, Allen has been with Orange Theory Fitness and is currently a region director. He has continued his personal and professional development in that time, earning NASM and CSCS certifications. Roger also recently accepted a position with the University of Kansas Medical Center as the strength and athletics supervisor. Allen is a devoted father, enjoys his time with his children, whether on Saturdays watching cartoons with his son or in a park riding a carousel with his daughter. Like all kids, Roger's son Judah, 6 years old, and his daughter Sarai, 3 years old, love the time they get to spend making memories with their dad. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, it gives me great pleasure to welcome to you Class 2020 Hall of Fame member. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Mr. Roger Allen.
Mic check, 1, 2. All right. So Brandon lied, okay? We met in the restroom and he said, I hope I don't go first. I suck at speeches. He killed it. Now I have to follow you. Appreciate it. All right, so first off, this means a lot to me. I went through Missouri Western and I've done a lot of things in my life, but becoming a Hall of Famer at Missouri Western always meant a lot to me, and I always try to play it cool, like, I don't care if I get it. Please get it, please get it. So last year in COVID, when I finally got it, you know, I was overjoyed and ecstatic, and so I'm so glad that we actually been able to host this festivities and honor everybody who deserves it. So first off, I want to congratulate my fellow inductees, and also inductees in the crowd, b-ball players. I see y'all. Yeah, I see y'all. All right, so thank you so much for joining us. First off, I want to thank the only reason why I'm up here, and it's the Creator, Yahweh, also known as God, and the Holy Father of everything. At the end of the day, I'm blessed with the body I've been given, and I didn't earn it. It was given to me, and so I was able to make the most with it, but at the end of the day, it was a gift. So I have to thank him for it. Next, I want to move right along to what it means to me to be a Griffin. I was listening to everybody talk, and they were talking about what it means to be a Griffin. And to me, what it means to be a Griffin is to be an overcomer. Most people who go to Missouri Western didn't get here easily. There's situations, things you had to overcome. Most of the people at this table can probably list a lot of things they had to overcome to be here right now. So to me, be a Griffin is to overcome adversity. And I believe the Holy Father gives us plenty of avenues, directions you can go, and it's your choices that determine your outcome. And I'm going to take you down the choices I made to get me here. First off, it started with my father, right over there, Roger Allen Jr. My father got me into football because he would yell at the Chiefs. Literally scream at the TV constantly back in the 80s and 90s. You remember those years? Yeah, it was bad years. So I was like, what gets him so excited? What gets him so football? Okay, I want to do that. So that's first interest in football. And I want to thank my father for moving us out of the inner city, Kansas City, because if you know about it, inner city Kansas City, if we would have lived where we lived, I went to Paseo High School, School of Performing Arts. Yeah, they didn't have a football team. I would have played the viola. The whole life would have been a whole lot different, so this big body, killing it on strings. Who knows? But once again, life's about choices and the avenues. So some of it's the people who affect you who make those choices. But I thank my father for moving us out to Raytown, where I met Coach Pete Carpino, my high school coach, who convinced me to play football. I also want to thank my sister, Monique, over there with the red hair. Yeah, it's rock out. She was the first person to teach me football rules, the whole game. She dragged me out. 6 years my elder, and she dragged me out, told me don't be no punk. And I played with kids 6 years older than me, and I had to go. And my sister was my blocker. She's my lead blocker. She's that's when I realized how important blocking was. So I want to thank you, Monique, for always being my guardian and my sister and my leader in my life. So I appreciate you. Moving right along, I want to thank everybody who played with me through the years I played with. Most importantly, some of the people who got me to Missouri West in the first place. So he's not here right now. He's Jay Brubach. He was my recruiting coach. He's a defensive back. And I almost went to a rival school of ours, Washburn. And I was so close. I was so close. I mean, the facilities are brand new. The jerseys look good. They had Under Armour. We didn't have Under Armour. We had Russells. They had Under Armour, y'all, name brand. So I was like, oh, yeah, sign me up. But at the time, they were not a strong school. And so Jay Brubach called me one day, and I was like, hey, Coach, I'm going to go to Washburn. And Missouri, Raytown sucked at football. And he told me the famous quote that I'll always remember to this day. Roger, aren't you tired of losing? Yeah, Coach, you're right. I'm coming. And from that point on, I'm Missouri Western committed. And I will say, I'm blessed the fact that we went 9-3 majority of the years I played, and we won a lot. So I appreciate Coach Brubach for convincing me. I also want to thank Coach Willie. now head coach of Missouri Western. At the time, he was the defensive D-line coach. He was my coach, and I appreciate him for making practice fun, and I always wanted to play for him. And all the joning and mama jokes, literally mama jokes with the players constantly in the locker room. But more than anything, I appreciate the one thing he told me, the best advice. I was on the defensive line, and he told me, he goes, Roger, you have a choice right now. He's like, you can stay on the defensive line, and one day you'll become a starter. You might even become all-conference. But if you switch to offensive line right now, you'll be an All-American. I said, okay, coach. Bye. And I switched to offensive line, and he proved to be a prophet. Choices. Life's all about choices. I could have stayed on defensive line, and then he probably would have been right in that situation as well. But if I stayed on the defensive line, I probably wouldn't be right here, right now. I want to thank Coach Partridge for recruiting me and for always treating me fairly and just taking care of me. I want to thank Coach Partridge and Coach Eilers, my offensive line coach. They showed up to my mother's funeral my sophomore year when she passed, and those things right there and the little things that you do for people show what it is to be family, even if you're not blood, you know what I mean? And they didn't have to do that. It was right before our bowl game. They drove down and supported me. So that's when I realized Missouri Western's in me forever, no matter where I go, you know what I mean? That's family. Because they showed up whenever I lost one of the biggest people in my family. I want to thank Michael Cobbins. He's not here today, but he's also a Hall of Famer. And Michael Cobbins showed me what it meant to be a strong, physical, mean mother lover and a lover of the Holy Father, because he led Bible study and then he would choke you out on the field. It was so confusing. So confusing. God bless you. Now I baptize you into the dirt. So at that point, I realized I was like, you know what? I want to be Michael Cobbins. That's what I want to be, Michael Cobbins. So he's not here today, but let him know. I talked about him. I also want to thank my ex-wife, Josie. She was my biggest supporter, and she gave me two of the biggest blessings of my life, my children. I also want to thank the training staff over there, that table, Myron and Kate. Yep, Myron! That call was called out for me very, very many times when I got hurt. And so I thank you, Myron, for holding me together with tape and love. And then finally, I want to thank one of the guys right here at this table, Patrick St. Louis. He's the current offensive line coach for the Griffins, and he's one of the guys that I attribute all my success to. I always say I was the brawn, he was the brains. All right? For the first 2 years that I played, I did not know the plays. I was like, Louis, where we going? He's like, hey, to the mic, bet. Let's go. Let's ride. And that's where we went. It wasn't until later, he's like, Raj, you need to know the plays. This is junior year. I was like, fine, Louis. But for a long time, Louis was my brother in arms, and, he knew exactly what I needed to do. He knew what to say to make me mad. He'd step on my feet on purpose, so I'd take it out on the opposing players. And so I appreciate you, Louis. No one gets anywhere without the people that are with you, your teammates. And so I want to thank everybody I played with. I want to thank all my coaches, Coach Trotter, Coach Matt Williamson. I want to thank anybody who's here. And I just appreciate you all for being part of the family. And at the end, I know that ultimately coming to Missouri Western was the right decision. Coming to Missouri Western led me to all the many blessings that I'm thankful for right now. And I couldn't imagine my life without being here at this school. You know, the school's completely different. You know, right now you can get a scholarship for video gaming. It's weird. It's crazy. So it continues to evolve. You know what I mean? It's just the future. We're living in the future, people. So you know, at the end of the day, though, Missouri Western is awesome, and it's always going to be the leader. And I can't wait to see where this school goes and support it the whole way. And at the end of the day, I'm black and gold forever. So, like you said, go Griffs.
Hey, Roger. I like your shoulder shimmy. I don't know if you knew you were doing that, but that's a guy that owns the podium right there. I like it. Ladies and gentlemen, 2020 Missouri Western Hall of Famer, Mr. Roger Allen. The next inductees to come forward won 23 basketball games on their way to a shared MIAA regular season championship and the MIAA postseason tournament championship. This 1997-98 Griffin men's basketball team distinguished themselves as one of Hall of Fame coach Tom Smith's best, earning the #2 seed in the South Central Region NCAA playoffs before ending their year in Canyon, Texas. It's safe to say this team entertained fans every night out. The foundation of their 23-7 season record was a 13-3 MIAA conference record. The same 5 players started most games that season. The bench, though, was strong and deep as 9 players on the team averaged very close to 20 minutes or more through the 30-game season. The remaining players provided key depth that was instrumental to this team's success as each young man here tonight played meaningful minutes. Team members, when your name is called, please come up and stand, forming a line in front of the podium, and remain up here until all team members have been introduced. Mitchell Garrett wore #3. And was a 5'11" senior guard playing in 27 games for the Griffins, averaging 17 minutes a game. Garrett scored 329 points on the season, averaging a team-high 12 points per game. He was a reliable shooter from 3, making 38% of his 200 attempts. Garrett's 8 3-pointers against Avila stood as tied for the Missouri Western single-game record for 23 years. From the line, Garrett's 76% free throw shooting led the Griffins. Mitchell also contributed 37 rebounds, good for 1.4 per game. Garrett has 7 children, Mitchell Jr., Marcus, Micah, Maxwell, Talon, and twin daughters, Gabrielle and Amaya. Mitchell has been self-employed with Back on Track Auto for Texas for 10 years. Congratulations, Mitchell. Nick Jenkins was a real stalwart on this Griffin championship team. The 6'4" junior guard wearing #5 started all 30 games, averaging 28 minutes a game. He averaged 11 points per game, scoring 334 points on the season. From his guard spot, Jenkins dished out 95 assists on the year, or 3 per game, and his quick hands generated a team-high 67 steals. Nick was a rebounding machine, grabbing a team-high 210, that's 7 per game. For his season, Jenkins was named to the MIAA All-Conference first team. Nick was also honored by Missouri Western in 2017 for the full body of work during his career with individual induction into the Hall of Fame. Nick has worked at the Cunningham Group for 18 years and has 3 children, Malcolm, Malik, and Destiny. Congratulations to Nick. Johnny Bingham, a 6'7" player, was the tallest player on the team. The junior forward wearing #11 averaged 16 minutes a game over the 14 games in which he saw action. Johnny scored 6 points a game on 45% field goal shooting. Bingham used his size to corral 78 rebounds, 5.6 boards a game. Johnny has driven a truck for over 20 years, owning his own company, One Day at a Time Express LLC, for the past 10 years. Johnny has been married to Shawanda for 11 years, and his dad, to Krishad champion Johnny L. II, Joshua L., and to Kyra Harmon. Congratulations, Johnny. Donald Guyton could not join us this evening. Donald, the guard wearing #22, came off the bench to play in 6 games for the Griffins. Please give Donald a round of applause. Sterling Rashall, a 6'3" junior. Yes, Sterling wore #23 for the Griffins. From his guard spot, Sterling played in all 30 games, averaging 16 minutes per night. Rashall hit 89 of 147 field goals, good for 60% shooting. That added up to 228 points on the season. That's 7 per game. Additionally, Sterling was active on the boards, racking up 3 rebounds per game for 95 on the year. Sterling and his wife Angela have been married 11 years. They have 5 children between them: Jessica, 29, Sean, 24, James, 23, Jasmine, 21, and Jordan, age 9. Rashal worked 20 years in sales, the last 6 years as a realtor. He recently made a career change, earning his CDL Class A license, and works for the Florida Brewery as a truck driver. Congratulations, Sterling. Trevion Parks was one of 3 6'6" players on the team. Parks, a senior guard, wore number 24 and played in 18 games, averaging 26 minutes per night. Trey made the most of those minutes, scoring 12 points a game and 216 on the season, while dishing out 21 assists. Trevion's size made him a dynamic rebounder, contributing 6 boards a game and 108 on the year. Parks was an imposing defender, blocking 17 shots, second best on the team. Trey is dad to Mia Fogel. He worked for 15 years for Coca-Cola and now works construction. Trey could not be with us here tonight, but please give Trevion Parks a big round of applause. Doug Lee was a 6'4" junior guard who came off the bench to play in 16 games for the Griffins. He averaged 9 minutes in those games, wearing number 25 during that season. On the floor, he chipped in with 4 points a game for 66 total, adding 1 rebound per game. Lee was an accurate free throw shooter, hitting on 13 of 17 tries, good for 76%. Was also a highly accurate three-point shooter from behind the arc. Doug owns Lee's Family Laundromat and is also the co-founder of West County Basketball, Griffin's Basketball Academy. That was established in 2012. Congratulations, Doug. Was it fitting from a team that St. Joe had a student-athlete guard named Jesse James at only 5'9" on it, made outsized contributions to this Griffin team from his guard spot? The junior wearing number 30 started all 30 games while playing a team leading 35 minutes a game. Jesse's 367 points and 12 points per game were both team highs that season. James was busy, dishing out 110 assists. That's an average of almost 4 a game, and his quick hands created 41 steals, 2 per game. Jesse was always in the middle of the action, pulling down 4 rebounds a game, or 104 for the year. Opposing coaches recognized his contributions by naming Jesse to the All-MIAA second team. Jesse is dad to 4 children: Drayton, Jamar, Zelina, and Caprice. He currently works as a welder sheet metal at U.S. Steel, having been there 3 years. Jesse James. Roderick, or Hot Rod Smith, wore number 32 and was a 6'3" sophomore guard for the Griffins. Rod started 28 games, playing 21 minutes per game. Smith's 213 points on the season translated to 7 points per game. Smith got those points on 43.5% shooting, making 73 of 160 shots he attempted. Rod also pulled down 76 rebounds, averaging almost 3 per night. Rod has been married to Nairi for 20 years and has 4 children: Destiny, 27, Roderick Jr., 21, Camden, 19, and Sierra, 17. Rod has been a letter carrier for the U.S. Postal Service for the past 8 years. Congratulations, Hot Rod! Albert Collins wore number 34 and was a 6-foot sophomore guard from Kansas City, Kansas for the Griffins. Albert played in 16 games, averaging a little over 4 minutes per night. Coming off the bench, Albert added 16 points, 7 rebounds, and 9 assists on the year. Albert and Christy have been married 8 years, and they have 3 children: Albert III, age 7, Christian 4, and Mary Joan, 8 months. Albert works for Kansas City Public Schools as a family and engagement specialist. He still stays connected to basketball as the head boys basketball coach at Sumner Academy, his high school alma mater. Congratulations, Albert. Kevin Bristol was a senior wearing number 40 on this Griffin team. As a 6'3" forward, Bristol played in 21 games, logging 6 minutes per night. Adding quality depth off the bench, Kevin tallied 36 points, 23 rebounds, and 10 assists for the Griffs. Kevin is the proud dad of 3, Ashley, 27, Jaden, 22, and Taylor, age 20. All share Kevin's athletic ability, becoming intercollegiate athletes themselves, with Ashley and Jaden showing their skill on the basketball court. And Taylor, always good to see you. A softball student athlete, competes for the Griffins just like her dad. Kevin has worked for the St. Joseph School District for 14 years, 4 of those as the head basketball coach at Lafayette High School. Congratulations, Kevin. Ronnie Steed was one of 4 Griffins on the team that went 6'6" or taller. The 6'6" senior forward wore number 44 for the Griffins. Ronnie started 28 games, averaging 22 minutes per game. Steed used his minutes well to score 198 points, or 6 points per game. He was a force inside, pulling down 100 rebounds. That's 4 per game. Steed also contributed to 32 assists and 19 steals on the year. Ronnie and Jennifer have been married for 15 years. Ronnie is dad to Hillary, 29, Ronnie, 24, Kelsey, 21, Tanner, 18, and Reese, 11. Ronnie has been at the Zachary Corporation for 7 years, where he is the chief estimator for North Texas. Congratulations, Ronnie! Sadly, Terry Polk, a vital member of the team, is deceased. Terry wore number 50 and was a 6'6" senior forward. Terry started 21 games for the Griffins, averaging 24 points per night. His presence inside was unmistakable as he pulled down 173 rebounds. That tallied 6 per game. Polk was also a reliable scorer, putting in 227 points on the year. That's an average of almost 8 per game. On defense, he created 31 steals for the Griffins. Terry passed away September 6, 2013, and had 2 sons, Michael and Marcus. Terry, you are missed tonight. Josh Keister was on a Griffin basketball sideline for over a decade. Unfortunately, Josh could not be here tonight, but Keister began as a men's and women's graduate assistant, his role on the team. Later, he was a full-time assistant for Griffin women's basketball and ultimately the Griffin women's head coach for 3 seasons. Josh and Kim have a daughter, Alex, and a son, Jack. Please give Josh a big round of applause. Mike Nicholson, also affectionately known as Coach Nick, was at Missouri Western in the early stages of his career. Coach Nick served 2 different stints as a Griffin assistant, the first from 1997 to 2005, then again, another from 2007 to 2013. Currently in his 28th season of coaching, Coach Nick has gone on to tremendous success after leaving his Griffin roots. He has cut down national championship nets along with 2018 Griffin Hall of Famer Dave Slifer. He's been named National Assistant Coach of the Year by 2 different organizations, and he's currently the Chief of Staff for multiple-time Griffin Hall of Famer Jeff Mitty at Kansas State University. Mike and his wife Lisa have 2 sons, Jake and Joe. Coach Nick can't join us here this evening because he's at Joe's high school football team senior night at Platte County. How about a big round of applause for Coach Nick? Tom Smith roamed the Griffin sideline for 25 years and was inducted into the Missouri Western Athletics Hall of Fame in 2006. His first Hall of Fame induction, though, came in 2004 by the Missouri Basketball Coaches Hall of Fame. Valparaiso recognized Coach Smith in 2012 for his time there as a player, and the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame recognized his contributions to basketball at their 2014 induction ceremonies. Coach Smith was in his 10th season leading Griffin men's basketball with the 97-98 campaign. Tom coached 23 of his Missouri Western record 448 wins that season. When his career concluded, Coach Smith had coached 534 MIAA wins. That is currently good for 2nd all-time. He also has logged 618 NCAA career wins, placing him in elite coaching company. Tom is married to Patsy, a class of 2017 Missouri Western Hall of Fame inductee herself. Congratulations, Coach Smith. Coach Smith, will you accept on behalf of your team?
My pleasure. Thank you very much. And I know this is a long night, but you're going to have to... All right. Hey. Shut up. You all met Nick. He made me feel pretty good because I don't look like the oldest person in the room now. First of all, Mr. and Mrs. Rogers, thank you. I think all of us up here feel very pleased and honored that you would take over the sponsorship of this particular event, which is a very nice one that I've been fortunate to be part of many times. This was, and to everybody here, and for the people sitting out there, you don't know how it makes you feel when you're honored to be into a Hall of Fame. Brett was very kind. I've been very fortunate to be in several. And again, I think everybody sitting up here realizes that when your school recognizes you as a Hall of Fame candidate or a team to go into the Hall of Fame, it's a very, very special thing. This particular team, I probably am very fond of. I mean, after I got out of the 3 years of therapy when they left, I could move on to the next teams that I had after that. But we had several very, very unusual situations with this particular team. Ronnie was last because Ronnie and I were the only two white guys around, you know, and that's why I kept Ronnie there, because I mean, you know, he was a pretty good player. Don't get me wrong. I'll tell you how good Ronnie was. Okay, I mean, we thought special things about Ronnie. We played. Will, Coach Will, you're going to get here. You're going to get there because I've watched you coach, and I know you're going to do it. You know, there was a day when we dominated Northwest. Okay, we dominated Northwest, and we went up there in this particular year. To play, fighting for a conference championship. Obviously, we ended up 13-3, tied for the championship. But they had a player, Nick. It was Lamont Williams from Chicago. He was a really, really good player. And the only thing is, Coach Nick came to me before the game and he said, you know, one thing about Lamont is he's really selfish. He's really selfish. He said, we need to get him to just try to do too much and then let everybody else take over, okay? So we decided we'd put Ronnie on him. All right, now don't get mad at me. Now, Ronnie was not the best defensive player. But here's what we thought. We thought if we put Ronnie on him, that he would just get off and start, you know, shoot and take all their other players out of the game. Well, this is going very well early. Ronnie comes to me, right, Ronnie, and says, Coach, I can't guard him. You have to get one, you know. I said, Ronnie, you're doing a great job. Just keep doing it. We went on to win the game. And actually ended up that being the game that we needed to win the conference championship. Mitch Garrett, Mitch, raise your hand. Raise your hand right now. Mitch was the biggest pain in the ass I ever had in my life. All right, okay, and pardon my language, but I just Mitch. But I got to say, Mitch had the greatest shot of all time. We're playing Washburn at home. In a crucial game. We got to win every game, you know, to be a conference championship. And Mitch is on the floor at the end of the game. I don't know why. I must have been brain dead. But Mitch is on the floor. Okay, don't get me wrong. Mitch is one of the best players in this team and could shoot the hell out of it. But Mitch goes up to shoot the ball to win the game on a three. Goes up in the air, flips the ball. Loses it out of his hands. It goes straight up in the air. The two Washburn kids that are coming out to guard him go right by him. Mitch catches the ball and drills a three, and we win 65-64, and you can look it up. Nick Jenkins, probably one of the best players. He went in the Hall of Fame a couple years ago. And right now, if you look up in the record book, Nick is the all-time leading field goal percentage player in the history of Missouri Western. And I will tell you, and every one of these guys will swear that he could not shoot a lick. Now, I'm not saying that I deserve all my accolades, but I changed all that. I made sure that he would not take any shot outside 4 feet. And then, as Brett alluded to, Jesse James. Okay, I went to Kankakee, Illinois to recruit Jesse James. And I mean, all I did is I walked in and I said, you have to understand you are the perfect player to come to St. Joe. Because, and I told him the story of Jesse James, and you know, obviously he didn't know Jesse James from Adam, but I said, you need to come here. The only thing, you know, I have to tell you, Jesse James, you know, robbed banks and, you know, held up railroad cars. I said, you know, you've got to promise me you won't do either of those two things. And by God, we got away with one of them. I want to take a second before I just end up, and again, I know there's 2 more to go, and it gets to be a long night and everything else, but there's a person here in the room that helped recruit this group of guys, and he came all the way from Dallas, Texas, to be here for their induction and everything else. And he was my assistant coach the year before this year, but he recruited, I think, 4 or 5 of the guys standing out here. Daryl Patillo, stand up, okay? I think, as Brett pointed out, when you introduce your assistant coaches, you know, you're only as good as the people that you have around you. But with that, I want to thank everybody. I want to thank the coaches that are in the audience that are coaches. I don't want to name everybody, but you all know who you are. You know, we all appreciate you taking the time and coming back and seeing our teams and what we've done and everything else. And it really does mean an awful lot to us, but you better get used to it, because I'm sorry you're going to see most of them up here probably next year again, because the next year's team was every bit as good, if not better. But one of the greatest teams that played for Missouri Western, 97-98 basketball team. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more round of applause for the 2020 Hall of Fame inductees, 1997-98 Griffin men's basketball team. Well, ladies and gentlemen, after a storied Kirksville High School softball career, that's you, that left her the Missouri State High School leader for strikeouts in a season, Jackie Bishop was welcomed to the Missouri Western family by Hall of Fame softball coach Jennifer Bagley Trotter. Once in a Griffin uniform, Jackie dominated in the circle from 2011 to 2014. That dominance showed up in the myriad records Jackie set during her time pitching for the Griffins. Her 26 wins, 291 strikeouts, and 12 shutouts in 2014, they are the best ever for a Griffin in a single season. Moving through the single-season record books, Bishop's 25 wins in 2011, 243 strikeouts and 42 appearances in 2012, 38 games started and 31 complete games in 2014. Those all rank second all-time for a single season. Jackie's name is prominent on more single-season pitching records. In 2012, 24 wins and 8 shutouts are third best all-time for a single season, as are her 224 strikeouts in 2011. Bishop posted 21 wins and 219 strikeouts in 2013. Both of those rank fourth all-time for a single season. Bishop's exceptional performance in each of her 4 seasons makes her the Missouri Western all-time career leader in 7 pitching categories. Jackie posted 96 wins, 977 strikeouts, a 1.44 ERA, 828 innings pitched and 142 appearances, 105 complete games, 29 of those shutouts. All of those are a career best in a Griffin uniform. Wow, I'm exhausted just listing your record. Did you really do all those things? I think you did. MIAA coaches recognized a dominant performance when they saw it and rewarded it accordingly. Jackie started quickly and never looked back, earning MIAA Freshman of the Year honors. She was tabbed as a first-team All-MIAA selection in each of her 4 seasons. Bishop picked up 2 MIAA Conference Pitcher of the Year awards, one in 2012 and another in 2014, to cap off her career. One of the most striking aspects of Jackie's career is her excellence in the circle began on day 1 as a freshman and continuing through her last pitching appearance as a senior. Jackie's success earned all South Central Region accolades in each of her 4 seasons. Daktronics named her to the first team 3 of 4 seasons and was their Pitcher of the Year in 2012. Bishop was also recognized by NFCA in 2012 and 2014 with second team and first team honors, respectively. All-America honors came to Jackie recognizing her strong and consistent performance. Daktronics bestowed second team honors in both 2012 and 2014, while NFCA listed Bishop on the first team following her 2014 season. Jackie is the epitome of a student athlete, landing on the MIAA Academic Honor Roll 3 times. For her excellence, Bishop was named Missouri Western 2013-2014 Female Student Athlete of the Year. After graduating from Missouri Western with a BS in Health and Exercise Science, Jackie continued her education at the University of Oklahoma, earning an Administrative Leadership Master's degree. Since leaving Missouri Western, Jackie served as a softball graduate assistant at the University of Oklahoma from 2016 to 2017. She was then a softball assistant coach for Bradley University in 2018, and since 2019 has worked for the Animal Pharmaceuticals Division of Boehringer Ingelheim. In the same way, Patrick Mahomes is a different kind of football player. Jackie was a different kind of softball player. One thing, though, that is no different about Jackie is the tremendous support she received from so many. From Mom, Valerie, to Dad, Tom, or Grandpa, Bob, to Grandma, Betty, and pitching Coach Mindy or her battery mates and Coach Bagley, all supported Jackie in her journey. Ladies and gentlemen, class of 2020 Hall of Fame inductee, Miss Jackie Bishop!
All right, like Brandon, I'm not the greatest speaker, so I wrote all mine down, so I'll just pretty much read from the paper here. What a humbling honor it is. First, I want to thank God for this moment and bringing us all together. I know it's been a crazy couple of years. As others can attest, it takes a lot of commitment, discipline, hard work, and flat-out belief to get to this stage. And as I stand here tonight, I want to pretty much thank everybody that's ever been in my corner and recognize those people. For me, the love of the game and success I had playing it starts and ends with family. Mom and Dad, where would I even be without you guys? The sacrifices you made, your commitment and belief for me was always high while your love was unconditional. There are many defining moments during a person's journey in sports. My mom hit the lottery when she found my pitching coach, Mindy, in Iowa. That was before smartphones existed, which impresses me more now because you really had to do your research. I hit the jackpot when my dad pulled the car over on our my 3-hour car ride to my first lesson. That was the moment that defined my entire career as a pitcher, honestly. I had to choose whether I was serious about pitching or if I really wanted him to turn the car around so I could go watch some Friday Night Lights with my friends, which was actually a big deal in high school. Dad, I'm so glad we kept that car rolling to Iowa. Later on in my career at Missouri Western, I was lucky enough to have bonus support from Jill and Travis. It meant the world. Thank you, guys. To my brother, Ryan, you've always supported me in everything I've ever done. Thank you for tagging along from tournament to tournament. You never complained, but you caught a lot of painted turtles in those creeks. I love you, buddy. My biggest fan base, my grandma and grandpa. Grandma couldn't make it tonight, but she never missed a game I played in Kirksville. She also saved every newspaper clipping, article I was ever mentioned in. She may not realize it, but those are super special for me to look back on. Grandpa also never missed a game. He taught me how to first play catch using his hat as a glove. He has every stat to every game I ever played written down. These are my 2 biggest cheerleaders and my heroes. I love you both. My pitching coach, Mindy, who unfortunately couldn't make it tonight, every other person before Mindy told me I didn't throw hard enough, I didn't throw enough pitches, or I just really wasn't a pitcher. She really never knew the confidence she gave the little girl when she believed more in me than I believed in myself. It's safe to say without Mindy, I'm not standing up here tonight. It's also safe to say that she was right. you can be a pretty decent pitcher throwing 3 pitches. To the Stepanovich family and Kat, Chicago Showcase tournament is still one of my favorite memories. Van chauffeuring us around from tournament to tournament in summer ball. There's a special bond between a pitcher and a catcher. I was lucky enough that mine was my best friend. She had to deal with me after all, and that was really no small task. When Kat decided she was going to Western, I knew it was home, and to continue to play ball together was one of the best decisions either of us have ever made. Even though it's still your fault my rise ball got hit over in the Monticello game, I can't thank you enough for being the best catcher, go-to, and friend to this crazy pitcher. Coach Bagley, I knew after spending a 2-hour recruiting call with you, you were who I wanted to play for. What a special honor it is to share this stage with you tonight. You gave me confidence in Missouri Western as my home. You gave me an opportunity to play the game I love with my best friends, some that turned into family. Without you, I'm not standing up here tonight, and I can't say thank you enough. And congratulations on your new journey. It makes tonight even much sweeter. Coach Bev and Coach Nasita, you both impacted me as much as Coach Bagley. We were blessed with good coaches. And Coach Bev, if you ever need anybody to feed your horses, I know a guy. Inside joke. I'm not sure people even know who I am without the crew. Kat, Taylor, and Michelle, we had us a time at Missouri Western. From pole dancing lessons in the dorm room to Bishop Road and all in between, my most cherished memories are with you guys. I could go on for days, but we really don't have enough time. I love you guys. JB, you were a senior who took a freshman with the same position under your wing, and it made me feel comfortable from the start. You set the standard, and that led me through my career with just one short year we had together. And now you've become the older sister I never had. You are a blessing, and you are a blessing. Thank you, and happy early birthday, too. My teammates, which a lot are here, actually, I want everybody that I played with to stand up, because a lot of them are actually here tonight. So go ahead and take a stand. And honestly, a round of applause for all of them. Perfect. It was an honor to play with each and every one of you, honestly. I wouldn't be up here tonight if it wasn't for all of us. Thank you for all believing in me, pushing me, and honestly tolerating me. I know I wasn't always the best teammate. Competition brought out my best and worst sides, but thank you for letting me be me, and I love you all. To Scott and my host Myron, a Missouri Western legend himself, and all staff that helped make tonight happen, I know this was planned, canceled, and planned again. Thank you so much for a special evening. You went above and beyond to make this a night we will remember, and it truly means so much. Minley released a video and talked about the people at Missouri Western, and it's true. The people make this place what it is, and it's so incredibly special. Missouri Western is and forever will be home, a place that's rare. To Minley, Brett Easley, Dave Riggert, Mike Holleran, Greg Carbon, Jeff Kramer, Darcy, Blaze, Rachel, Kate, and the best guy I know, who actually I have seen in the house tonight, Galen. That's right. I hate to think I'm forgetting anybody else, but thank you. You all made Missouri Western, and are the reasons we still continue to stay connected. Coach Yagi, although one legend is gone, a new one has arrived. I'm so excited for the program because I know it's in good hands with you and Lexi, who happens to be the most talented and upcoming coaches I know. Can't wait to watch you guys get after it this year. Congratulations to all the other inductees. It's an honor to share this stage tonight. My legacy as a ball player has been solidified with no greater honor than tonight. Once a Griff, always a Griff. Thank you, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2020 Griffin Athletics Hall of Famer, Jackie Bishop. Well, our final inductee walked on campus 2 decades ago. Where has that time gone? And promptly began a revival of the Griffin softball program that continued throughout her tenure. The once proud Griffin softball program won the only department national championship in 1982. However, they won only 7 total MIAA games in the 2 seasons prior to her arrival. Jennifer Bagley brought a combination of a distinguished playing career, a budding coaching philosophy rooted in stops at Minnesota State Moorhead and later Humboldt State under the tutelage of the late coach Frank Cheek, along with a world of positivity and enthusiasm. Armed with those attributes, she sought to change the fortunes of Missouri Western softball when she accepted the role of head coach. Those qualities led to 20 years of success for Griffin softball. Her Griffins won 8 MIAA games that first season, 1 win better than the 7 wins of the prior 2 years combined, and set in motion a sustained period of excellence not often seen in athletic programs. During her 20 years at the helm of Griffin softball, Jennifer's teams went 649 and 385, a 62% winning percentage. Her record in the always tough MIAA is even better at 260 and 132, a 66% winning percentage. That impressive record leaves Coach Bagley as Missouri Western softball's all-time wins leader. Those wins took Griffin softball to 11 NCAA appearances in 20 years. She was also 4-time MIAA Coach of the Year in 2004, 2009, 2011, and 2016. Griffin softball under Coach Bagley won 2 regular season MIAA championships. The 2011 Griffins at 18-4 and the 2016 team going 23-3 both claim MIAA regular season championships. Her teams were in the mix for an MIAA tournament championship every year. Her Griffins won 2 MIAA tournament championships, one in 2014 and another in 2016. Coach Bagley also led her team to the tournament championship game 3 other times, 2007, 2012, and 2019. Coach Bagley is not only the Missouri Western career wins leader, but impressively is the all-time MIAA wins leader. Coach Bagley would be the first to say this is a record she shares with every former player and coach who went through the program. A couple of those players weighed in on Coach Bagley breaking the record. Fellow Hall of Fame inductee Jackie Bishop said, "I'm not surprised at all. She's now the all-time wins leader." And Morgan Frost said, "She's one of the greatest." What an impressive on-field legacy. Behind all the wins, conference titles, and NCAA appearances, though, is the secret sauce. Secret sauce. Coach Bagley is all about the relationships with people. Morgan Frost, quoted earlier, also said, "It's really nice to see when people come back for alumni weekends and see the relationships she has with people that played for her 10-plus years." That sentiment in a nutshell is Coach Bagley, striving to develop good humans, building relationships, establishing a great culture, and oh yeah, nice to win a few games along the way as well. In 2016, Coach Bagley was the recipient of St. Joseph YWCA Women in the Workplace Award. Language taken directly from her nomination demonstrates her commitment to relationships and culture. She was noted for recruitment of women athletes that are talented both academically and athletically. She encourages her athletes to continually give back to the community they live in. Lastly, she's recognized to be compassionate, optimistic, and admired by students, coaches, and the community. Tonight is not the first time Coach Bagley is on the Hall of Fame award dies. In 2008, Jennifer was recognized by her alma mater, Minnesota State Moorhead, for her outstanding softball playing career. In her career, she was a 3-time all-conference pitcher and still ranks top 5 all-time in many Dragon career pitching categories. In 2016, the Humboldt State team she helped coach was inducted into the Lumberjack Hall of Fame. 9 years ago, Jennifer became Jennifer Bagley Trotter when she and husband Reggie were married. Reggie's well-known to Missouri Western faithful from his time as a Griffin football player and later defensive coordinator on some of the best Griffin teams and defenses. Reggie and Jennifer are parents of Quentin, Missouri Western sophomore, Camille, Central High School senior, and Zoe, a sophomore, also at Central High School. Coach Bagley Trotter recently accepted the challenge to transition the St. Thomas University softball program into Division I. The sun is set on Coach Bagley Trotter's legendary Missouri Western career, but is rising brightly on her newest challenges with the Tommies. Ladies and gentlemen, class of 2020 Hall of Fame inductee, Mrs. Jennifer Bagley Trotter.
Oh, okay. So, I promise I won't start telling stories from that very first picture in that last slide where I was like this big. Hold on, I need my water. Life hack, it's impossible to cry and drink water at the same time. So, swallow that lump down. I want to first start off by thanking Scott Graham and the Hall of Fame committee for tonight, for the selection. I'm also a member of the committee, so I think that worked out well in my favor as a voting member, but had to get the last one in on my way out. But, you know, I think the Hall of Fame is one of the best events that Missouri Western puts on. Rogers Pharmacy, we appreciate you and the efforts that you put in and the money you back to make sure that things like this go off well. I think this is an important part of our history and what we do here at Western, so thank you very much. Dr. Kennedy, thank you for being in attendance tonight, and I'm looking forward to watching you take this university forward. Female president, I dig that. I also want to congratulate our men's basketball team, the 97-98 team, for being inducted tonight, along with Roger Allen and Brandon and Jackie. Sharing this with you tonight is special, and I want to congratulate you all personally. So it's incredible tonight to look out on a room full of so many people that I love and that mean so much to me. And you know, I listened to tales over the years. I've sat out in the crowd for a number of years, which is why I'm not going to speak for half an hour. Don't worry, I know I'm the last one. But you know, and I listened to people's stories about where they came from, and we have a lot of first-generation collegiate athletes that, you know, first-generation college students that come through Missouri Western, and I'm always amazed at the stories of people that had to really work hard to make something of themselves. I am very fortunate that I am a product of an incredible upbringing, an incredible family, an incredible support system. I was raised with a lot of love and support by incredible parents. So I'm not one of those stories, but I think that I'm really fortunate, and I have to say that because I know that that's not everybody's story. I'm one of 7. I have 2 of my sisters here tonight, Mary and Cindy, that are my ride or dies, that, you know, we've been through everything from taking care of my parents. I'm not gonna, whew. Yep, water. Got it. You know, and they've had to struggle in my shadow, honestly, you know, and it's not easy. You know, and you know, if you want to get something done, they're the phone call. They're my people, and you know, they wanted to make sure that I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for their loving support and dedication to my upbringing. So, thank you for being here tonight, making the trip. One thing that I will take credit for, and that is that I have been able to surround myself with really good people. I think anybody that has any sort of success, and especially as a coach or a leader in any sort of organization, you know that you can't do it alone. And being able to select people that match your talents, or maybe even bring a different perspective, is what makes you successful. So to surround myself with good people like the assistant coaches that I have been fortunate enough to have in my career, from Patty Hartenbauer, which many of you in this room know, to Lou Rizzuti, who spent 10 years as a volunteer assistant coach that drove back and forth from Des Moines, Iowa to St. Joe, Missouri to help us out, Trina Dennison, Amanda Lahotek, who, by the way, came to us today. Her flight got canceled out of Denver, and she got in her car and she drove today to be here tonight. It's the best, the best. Amy Beverly, we'll talk more. Mandy Nasita, Molly B. Elland, I see her there. I haven't had a hugger yet, but I see her. Ashley, Lexi, Morgan, all of you guys, I know that working with me is not always easy, but I appreciate all of your loyalty. I appreciate how much dedication you put into Missouri Western softball. Most of all, your friendship and your laughter. So, thank you. Okay, on to the real Hall of Famers. I would love it if every player in the room tonight that has ever played for me to please stand. Okay, you can sit down. Go ahead, sit down. That is why every coach does what they do, or at least every coach that can sustain a long career. And it's the players out there that have developed and grown into incredible women doing incredible things. You know, wives and mothers and business owners and all of the things that are out there in that room, that we started that journey together at Missouri Western, and it isn't lost on me that at one point in time, you guys took a leap of faith to trust your remaining years at Missouri Western and trust those remaining years to come play for me, and that is something I will be forever indebted to you all for. You know, I think that over the years, I think it has been very well documented that practical jokes are a big part of our program. And there was a video Ryan Minley set out there a while ago kind of chronicling some of the better ones, like when Amy and I convinced Jackie, Michelle, Kat, Taylor, that Amy owned a horse that needed to be fed, and we sent them on a wild goose chase to find it, to, you know, Janie Smith, she was going to get kicked out of the dorms because we found drugs in her dorm. We had someone deported. We had someone ineligible. Heck, we had Tiffany Gillespie believing she was pregnant. I mean, we've had some good ones, okay? But I just want to go on the record as saying that they were not victims, okay? Because I got every little bit that I gave. So whether it was these guys stealing my dog and taking pictures of him out in the community, Zudi and Sova, I had them take care of my dog and they lost him. And all of this happened without my knowledge. They found him. I went away on a weekend. This is the last time I ever had one of my former players one of my current players watch my animals. And then Sova shows up to early morning workouts wearing my clothes. You know, hiding under my desk after a long day, and I'd come back to my office and someone jumps out at my desk, hiding up in the overhead compartment up above me. Mandy was good for that. You had the more petite players were good at that one. You know, the hood ornament that showed up on the hood of my vehicle that was suctioned right on the hood of my vehicle that I'm pretty sure was purchased at Priscilla's. Yep. So, what I have to say is, yes, we worked hard. And yes, these are incredible women that I hope received the gift of understanding how important it is to give back to your community. But God, we had a lot of fun, a lot of laughters, a lot of really great times. And it didn't suck to win some games too. So. I would also like to thank and recognize my colleagues that I was very, very fortunate at Missouri Western to be able to work alongside. You know, Buzz, he was my person at Western when things were going sideways, when I needed advice, when I just needed to vent sometimes. He just let me do it, and he was always there for me. And Buzz, I miss you. And he's just the bee's knees. So, I love you. Tracy, why'd you do it? Okay. Other coaches and colleagues that, you know, I think at Western, we were a family, we're a community. We cheered for each other's successes. We lamented in each other's failures. We were able to bounce things off of each other, and it was such a cool community to be a part of. And I think it was such a special time. You know, Brett Easley, who's going to be leaving us. Where is Brett? Over there? I mean, we've had some fun. friend. We have. And, you know, I'm ecstatic for your new adventure, but, you know, this university will be forever changed without you a part of it. You know, and we've just, Western is a special place. We've said it time and time again because of the special people that were here. Even Galen Wood. You guys, I can say this now because Galen's retired and I'm gone. So we would be on the road, and Galen was such a dedicated bus driver. He would drop us off at the field. He would go to the store and he'd put the items he purchased at the store on ice in the hotel room. So when we came back, we could have our coaches meetings and talk about all the things we needed to have been doing better that day. So Galen, Nigel, I love you guys. You made some of the most special years the best, just the best. You know, I've worked for 6 athletic directors, 4 presidents, and we've had a number of coaches come and go, athletic trainers come and go, Myron and Kate, everybody that kept my teams rolling. And, you know, Missouri Western, it was a special time to be a part of every single one of them, and I don't want to miss anybody's name, but it'll probably happen, and for that I'm very, very sorry. But there's been a lot of change. And how we go forward, Missouri Western, how we decide to go forward, I hope is something that doesn't get forgotten, is how we got what we were able to be successful doing because we did it together. And I hope that that continues. I hope that culture continues in our athletic department going forward. If I could take a moment, Amy Beverly, can you raise your hand and go? Okay, here's the thing. Amy was my first real live big-time recruit. She loved me so much that she decided to stay on and coach for a few years with me too. She just couldn't get enough, and I don't blame her. But but the thing is, when you start a program, and I'm thinking about these things again as I'm starting new things at St. Thomas, you need that golden brick. Those players that said yes in those very early years, you guys, I talk about it all the time, you were the brick, the foundation of what became Griffin softball. But Amy, you were the golden brick. She was the first one to say yes. She had the personality that could bring in recruits. If I put recruits with Amy, I don't want to know what happened, but I know they had fun, and they almost always signed. And there's probably a number of them in the room. And I'm so proud of you for where you are. And I'm proud of everything that you, where you are today and what you've gone through and what you were to me. And you were loyal, and you've never wavered. And because of that loyalty and friendship, I was able to do what we did at Western from a very early stage. But she stayed that loyal, dedicated friend till today. And that friendship, it's... And I love you, and I need to find an Amy Beverly at St. Thomas, so if anybody out there knows of, I need a golden brick to start at St. Thomas to be able to do the same thing there. Love you. Lastly, the biggest gift I got from Missouri Western was my... No, I'm good because I have to go to the bathroom too, so. Is my family. Is my family. Quentin, Camille, Zoe. I didn't know how much of a hole I had in my heart until you guys came along and filled it. And you made me a better coach. You made me a better person. Because all of a sudden I went from this selfish person living in a house with my dog to having 3 kids. And I love every minute of it. I love you 3 dearly. And the end. Okay. My husband, Reggie. I got to get him here at Missouri Western too. Or maybe he got to get me, I don't know, a little bit of both. But what you may or may not know is being coaches, both of us. He is my #1 assistant coach. You know, we go home, and to be able to talk things through with him, and to get ideas from him, and you know, he mentored me through some situations. He gave me confidence in situations when I wavered, and sometimes just gave me the kick in the ass I needed. Is that okay? I said that. People talk about people being in your life and being a rock. Reggie's like my mountain. And I have Missouri Western to thank for that, on top of everything else. So I stand here before you a very blessed person, because Missouri Western was a very big part of my life. You people in this room were a very big part of my life. You are a big part of my life, and I know I'm no longer here, which makes this whole evening a lot weirder than I thought it was going to be originally. You know, I came in and I only wanted to make this program better than I left it. What I didn't anticipate was that I was going to be leaving here a better person for being here. So, thank you very much. This honor means a great deal to me. We're having a party at room 108 downtown if anybody wants to stop by. And ease, go Griffs.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have met the Missouri Western State University Hall of Fame class of 2020 inductees. As your name is called, please stand one last time and remain standing until all inductees have been mentioned. Mr. Roger Allen. Mr. Brandon Simmons. Miss Jackie Bishop. Mrs. Jennifer Bagley Trotter. And the 1997-98 men's basketball team. Well done, ladies and gentlemen. Well, it has been a pleasure being your MC this evening. Couple reminders for you before I let Scott Graham close the night. Kickoff, Griffin football against Pitt State tomorrow at 4 p.m. The Hall of Fame ring ceremony takes place at halftime of the game. All inductees, individuals, and team members requested to please report to Scott Graham at the southwest end of the track. That would be the indoor sports complex end, with 5 minutes remaining in the second quarter. And actually, my last act as MC this evening, I stand corrected. I want to invite our Gold Coat president to the podium, Mr. Zach Workman. Zach, would you come up here, please?
Hey, I don't know how I'm supposed to follow that. That's hard. Just a couple quick things about the Gold Coat. First of all, you know, I just realized today it's been 727 days since we last got together. And it just seems like yesterday. You look around the same faces, you see all the same enthusiasm. It's a great opportunity to see us come together. Mr. Rogers, thank you so much for all you do. It's been an honor to meet you. I do want to comment quickly to Brandon. I know he did mention a little bit about how the baseball complex wasn't there when he was here. In 1970, there were 3 trees and 3 buildings that was here. Right, Jerry Myers? That's exactly right. I do want to take a quick moment also to, there's a gentleman who always stands very humbly on the sideline, and he's very founded in this particular organization and puts it all together, does it quietly, does the whole thing. Scott Graham, if you'll please give a good round to Scott Graham. To echo just a little bit about this evening's presentations, I can remember several months ago, someone asked me what was my greatest memories about the time that I spent around Missouri Western. And I quoted back to them, it's not about the buildings. The buildings are useless without people in them. It's about the people. It's about those relationships you build over this period of time. And I say to everyone about you, and you've been a part of this as well as these athletes and people up here today, we want you to leave. We don't want you to go away. And I think there's a difference between the two of those things. We see athletes who go away and maybe don't come back for a long period of time, but we want you back. This is the part, you built this facility. You helped build these histories. You are a part of this foundation. And so we want you back to be a part of this because our goal as Gold Coat members is to raise funds so that student athletes of today will have an opportunity to come back tomorrow, and perhaps some of them will be on this stage and reflect back on their great moments that they had wearing the black and gold. And so I can remember when Charlie Burry first started the Gold Coat Club, bless Charlie who is still with us, he had 4 members who gave $250 apiece. And that's what started the Gold Coat Club in 1969. So we are honored to be here today to continue on our efforts and to still support the athletic department. But I don't do this alone. And I think Coach Bagley has mentioned that. Everybody else has said that. You don't get any place in life by yourself. You have to have great people who surround you. So at this moment, if you would, just for a second, with all the Gold Coat board members, please stand and stay at your seat for a second. Please stand, be recognized. These are just great individuals to be able to work with every day and to do things you want to do to try to be successful and give back to Missouri Western. I've always had a good saying that says, if you're not giving, you're taking too much. And so we want to try and give back as much as we possibly can to be a part of Missouri Western's great history and create more of a foundation for the future as we can. So I do thank you so much for all being here tonight. It's been a great evening. I thank and congratulate each one of our candidates. We wish them also a very safe trip back home. And thank you very much again. Go Griffs.
Teresa was only between you and the food. I'm between you and the door. You think that isn't daunting? My wife asked me what I was going to talk about tonight, and I told her about 2 minutes. So, Zach, thanks so much for your kind words earlier. Like you said, we don't do any of this alone, so it's all the people. Thanks also for your insightful thoughts about the role we can all play supporting Missouri Western athletics. We have the opportunity to become the supporters of today's athletes that so many visionaries were for us at our young stage. If COVID did anything positive, in my mind, it emphasized how important things are that we often take for granted. Things like joining together with family and friends at events like this. I know how grateful I am for tonight after sacrificing last year's event. Speaking of the event, it doesn't just happen. My honor and pleasure from the podium tonight is to be able to recognize a number of people who contributed so much to the event. This is a phenomenal class. They thrilled us during their time on the fields and court. 2 Freshman of the Year recognitions, 3 Pitcher of the Year recognitions, a cumulative 14 All-MIAA honors, including every year played for our individual inductees, a combined 7 regular season and tournament MIAA championships, a 4-time MIAA Coach of the Year, and 2 different MIAA all-time wins leaders grace our head table tonight. Thank you all. Now, our Hall of Fame committee, would you please stand and be recognized? Oh, no, I'm sorry, you did that. Sorry. I'd like to thank, there are some volunteers that help put this room together, and I'd like to thank those individuals tonight. Howard McCauley, Linda Myers, Jerry Myers, Zach Workman, Kim Weddle, Myron Unziker, Patsy Smith, Lyle Smith, Carl Butcher, and Rich Lenig all gave up their time to come and set our tables up and be ready to go for this evening. Thanks also to Nancy Black and to Kim Weddle, who staffed the reception and welcome table this evening. And I want to thank Mike Holden for working with our table sponsors. For this next thank you, it's a little bit more of a heavier lift. And I want to ask all the Gold Coat board members to come up here and help me with this. While they're coming up, just a little bit of audience participation. Who in the audience, by show of hands, knows what a Swiss Army knife is? Okay. What's it good for? Everything. Okay. We have a Swiss Army knife in our presence. I'd like to ask Kate and Brett to come up. Zach is going to help me with this presentation, but I'd like to say just a couple of things. I think we all recognize the importance of Brett, not only to athletics, but to the institution, and it is a loss to see him go out the door. We will miss you. Kate, we want to thank you because it takes a very supportive spouse to go the lengths that you have to go to for the hours that Brett has to work to be successful in his job. Without that successful spouse, this doesn't happen. Zach.
So the Gold Court Board, because of our appreciation for Brett, and I will tell you, Brett is amazing at the meetings. He'll tell us what we need to get done, tell us what timeline we have, he'll tell us how much money we made or haven't made. He puts it all together. And we get all those statistics almost every month as an ongoing thing because fundraising is a year-round, it's not just part season. And so we've also recognized that you don't get anywhere without somebody supporting Cass, and that's why we want to give Kate a little roses to say thank you from the Gold Coat Board. So thank you, Kate, for everything. We just know that there's a lot of hours that Brett is away from home. There's still chores to be done at home. There's still a family to take care of. There's still a place to go, still things to do. But she's always been there 100%. And we thank you so much for being there, okay? So in our last effort, the Gold Coat Board wanted to give the family, and certainly Brett, a gift from the board. We raised some money, some pretty decent money. And we'll give that to Brett for his family to use as he sees fit. But again, to Brett, and he knows how much we love him and appreciate him for all that he has done for Missouri Western. The great part about it for him, as I said before, he's kind of going away, but he's not gone. And I know he's nothing but black and gold on the inside, and he will continue to share his talents with us along the way. And again, with Brett, we thank you so much.
At this time, I'd like to take a moment for a few more thank yous, and then we will adjourn. We've talked about the great support from our businesses, and there's also some individuals that have supported the event tonight through the sponsorship of rings for the individual inductees. And those individuals are Tom and Patsy Smith, Myron and Connie Unziker, Zach and Mary Workman, myself and my wife Edie. And tomorrow there'll be a ring presentation at halftime of the football game, and each one of the individuals will get that ring. Thank you very much. One last time, there are 13 table sponsors that contributed to the event significantly by their sponsorship of the tables, where either people from their organization are here this evening, or in some cases, those tables and those seats were donated, and some of our student athletes are in those seats. And so we thank them and would ask you to patronize those businesses at every opportunity. Kim Weddle had to leave, but she was here earlier. She was one of the individuals, along with Nancy, that checked people in this evening. And Kim is the director of our Alumni Association, and she is very much responsible for the sponsorship of the reception across the way this evening. So I want to thank Kim personally and the Alumni Association for their help. The beautiful decorations you see, and I've heard, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 different people comment on what it does to spruce things up, are compliments of Hy-Vee, and I want to thank Hy-Vee for their support as they do every year. And I really don't know where to start with this next one. Mr. and Mrs. Rogers, without your support as a title sponsor, the event isn't quite what it is, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for that. My last direction to the inductees is to please go over here to the Griffin backdrop, and there'll be some photo opportunities over there. That concludes our evening. I will look forward to seeing the inductees tomorrow at the end of the stadium, and we'll go out at halftime for the football game. As Brett said, show up with about 5 minutes on the clock, and then we'll kind of gather and make our way out there. Last thing I've got to say is go Griffs. Thank you.
Up here, up here, up here.
I might not see you tomorrow, but because you're going to be busy. You're going to be a busy girl. And I'll touch you.
Griff softball to the front stage here. Griff softball. Somebody sent me this. Taylor!